Okay, once we've drawn up all our component parts, so the back, side, front, base and lid, we're then ready to start assembling all these parts together to build up our birdhouse. So you can see along the bottom here you've actually already got an assembly tab. If that's never there, you can always add a new one by just clicking this insert element and new assembly, but clearly we've got one, so I'm just going to click on the assembly itself. You'll see when I go into the assembly unit that we've got some slightly different icons. So we've got some what we call mate icons now. So these are basically just different ways that we can actually join all our parts together. So we've got a fastened mate, one that can rotate, one that can slide up and down. We can mate on planes, we can allow things to revolve and things like that. All different types of things that we'll try and cover when we come to do our thing. First thing you need to do then is obviously insert our parts. So we just click on insert. It will bring up all the parts that are listed underneath. We're going to start off with the back panel on our work first. So I'm going to drop in our back panel to start with. Again, it doesn't matter too much where it goes. I would try and have it somewhere near this sort of origin. Click it on your screen, and then as soon as we've clicked it down, right click and fix it. That will basically fix it in space, if you like, so it won't be able to move. You'll see it's fixed to that origin now. Once I've done that, we're then ready to start inserting our other parts. So once we've done that, as we're still on it, we're just going to click on the side. We're going to do one at a time. So hopefully when that appears. So what I would avoid doing is avoid putting it really close to the other part. So I would move it away. You can see it's not quite in the right orientation, but we'll sort all that out. Don't worry about that. So we're just going to click it on screen. We then need to think about how I actually want to sort of join this together. So in an ideal world, I would want that face mated, that's the terminology, or aligned with that edge there. I'd want this side to be totally flush and aligned with this side, and then the bottom aligned and flush with this bottom side as well. And again, in in previous CAD systems, you used to have to do this manually, so you'd have to every single part do this 3 times. But on Onshape, it's quite easily to do this sort of one. Again, this is what we know as a fastened mate. So if I hover over it, you can see it tells me. Basically, it says it removes all degrees of freedom between the 2 parts. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to click on that. I'm going to hover over and select. So you can see if I'm not clicking anything, I'm selecting that front plane, which is right. You'll see I can also move what we call this mate fastener to sort of any either midpoint, corner, etc. on our work. So what I want to do for this one, I'm going to actually select the front plane, but then move it to this bottom corner. That's where I want to align our other parts. If you imagine this is a bit like an imaginary blob of glue. Yeah, it's wherever I put this blob of glue, it's going to mate or marry up with the blob of glue I put on the other part. So I'm going to select that bottom corner. I'm then going to go to my other part. Again, I might have to zoom around a little bit. Select that part again. So again, I want to align that edge with this front face. So again, like that. And then I'm going to try and move that connector to the bottom corner there. So again, when I click my left mouse button, you'll see it'll actually move this piece of side panel to mate with that back piece, and these mate connectors will literally glue together. So you can see, you think, oh, that's not how I want it. It is technically right, but again, the software doesn't realise. So what we can do, we've got these couple of bits and pieces that we can play about with. So I can do that one, just flip primary axis. I think, oh, that's near enough, right? So again, it's sort of a bit closer. But you can see I need to rotate this one. So again, this next one says reorientate second axis. Again, it's now in the right orientation. So sometimes you've got to play about. Again, it is a piece of computer software. It doesn't know exactly what you want to do. But again, just using these 2 bits, we can actually normally solve it. So again, if I just scroll round, that looks right. So it's aligned at the bottom, aligned on the side, and it's perfectly flush. Like I say, this is where it's sort of gluing these 2 parts together. So once I'm happy with that, I just click on the commit current mate. Again, it'll automatically try and do a second one, but you just need to close that off because that now is fixed. So I can't move that in any direction if I try to drag it, all that type of thing. So we've got our first side done. Once I've done that, I'm then going to insert the next side and basically do the exact same thing but the opposite side. So again, I'm going to use this fixed or fastened mate, select this, I'll just roll around, so hover over, select that front face, again try and then move your mate connector to the bottom corner. Again, that's on that. I then rotate around. I'm then going to select this side face again, so it takes a bit of time. Sometimes I have to zoom in to get that face. So there it is, that face is selected. And again, I then want to go try and move that mate connector to that very bottom corner. So that's correct. So again, it's try to have a think, right, well I need to definitely flip that axis, so that looks right. Yeah, and then need to rotate this piece up. Again, that looks correct to me, so I'm happy with that. So I'm then going to click off that because we're happy. So we've got our two sides mated and fixed to the back panel.